Hi guys, it's Andy Lehman from freedomskillsacademy.com again. I'd just like to say thank you for tuning in again. So this week, this video I'm going to talk about boom or bust, mindful versus excessive spending. So this is on page 49 of the Life Bible book, How to Succeed When the Odds Are Stacked Against You. It's a collection of tools, methods, strategies and ideas to basically improve your life, improve your situation, make life better for yourself, give you more freedom. And so in this one, I just want to quickly talk about mindful versus excessive spending. Now, this is one of the problems that most people have. Kind of touched on it in some of the other videos, especially the video about your bank account being a reflection of your previous spending. And this is part of it. This is kind of helps you have a bank account, a healthier bank account at the end of the month. Now, the big problem is with life-changing situations where you want to change your life for the better, you want to change your circumstances or situation. Unfortunately, a lot of that is going to require some money. It doesn't necessarily have to be a lot of money, but you do need money. If you want to create a side business or a business, you're going to need seed money. You're going to need some money so that you can invest in education. You're going to need some money to invest in buying stock or products, or even if you're going to have a website built and outsource some of the writing or the development, you're going to need money for that. Now, unfortunately, a hell of a lot of people struggle to find the money for these things. And when you talk to people, they'll often say that they don't have any spare money, and they will tell you all that they like to think that they are in charge of their finances. They have an idea of what they're spending each week and month, and they'll tell you that they just don't have any spare money. Now, there's a TV program here in the UK. It's called Secret Eaters. This is a very similar thing, and that is the fact that most people don't generally actually know what they are spending their money on. And so in this chapter we talk about boom or bust, mindful versus excessive spending, and that is because people get themselves trapped into the prison cycle of earn, spend, earn. And at the end of the month, they don't have much spare. But if you were to sit down and actually look at how you spend, and you calculated or recorded everything, you'd probably be amazed at how much is lost in small spends. And this is what the mindful spending is all about. And that is, people don't realise that if you're going to spend £100, £200 or £1,000, you know you're spending it because it's a lot of money. You know that you can't afford it, or you don't have the money. You'll look at your bank account and you'll see that you don't have a spare £1,000 to spend on this. However, when you're walking through town and you walk past Starbucks, Costa Coffee or any other sort of coffee shop, the smell is wafting out the door. You can smell the toast as well, or the paninis, or you can see the carrot cake in the window. And you're walking past and you're feeling a little bit peckish and you think, oh, why not? Treat myself. So you call in, you get yourself a oat milk latte or some sort of Americano, you get yourself a cake to go with it. And before you know it, you spent £5, possibly £10. Not a biggie. It's only a small £5 and £10. You've got to give yourself a treat, right? Everybody has to have something to do with life. So you've got to enjoy life. You've got to do something. But you're doing this while you're going shopping, while you're in town. 2 days later, you might get a phone call from a friend. I haven't seen you for a long time. Would you like to go out for a quick coffee and cake or a drink? Yes, why not? You go out there, you spend another £5, £10. The following day, you've been busy. You've been really working hard. You're tired. You get home. You want want some food, but you don't really want to be cooking. And so then you look at and you see the menu on the pinboard and you think, yeah, I'll get myself a pizza. So you get pizza and chips. If you're on your own, if there's a couple of you, you get a fairly big sort of pile of food being delivered to the door. You're looking at sort of between £12, possibly £20, probably £30, depending on what you've got. If you go to an Indian restaurant, a bit more expensive, get a few side dishes. £25, £30 has gone already on top of the couple of coffees you've had. You pop to the shops while you're there, you get yourself a bag of crisps, you get something else. All these little things that you're spending on, these little amounts, which don't seem to be a huge amount, will all add up at the end of the month. Over the year, they will add up a hell of a lot more. There was a study in America a few years back. I don't know what the actual figures are for 2021, but a few years ago in the USA, it said that the average person spent $1,100 on takeaway coffee every year. Now, they said that they also spent $600 per year on beer, $600 on wine per year, and they spent $850 per year on drinks like Pepsi and Coke, plus there was $206,000 on takeaway food. So at the end of the year, for the average American, their spend was a staggering $5,356 dollars on food and drink. Now, with food and drink, we always give ourselves a bit more of an excuse because we need to eat. We need food to keep us going, we need the energy, we need the sustenance, we need the nutrition. Not that we generally are getting much nutrition from cakes, pasties, pizzas and coffee, but we generally do. We can justify the spending of small amounts on these foods because we need them. Now the problem is that we do this more often. Now again, as I said, and I know some people are probably going to dislike me for doing this, probably think I'm a bit of an arse, but I'm not saying that you cannot enjoy food and drink. I'm not saying you can't enjoy doing stuff. The whole purpose of having money and being alive is to enjoy life. But life can often be hindered and harmed by stress and situations where we can't afford the things that we need, or we can't move forward because we don't have the funds. The problem often is that all our small little treats, our small rewards cost us money, which if once it's added up, we will see that it's costing us bigger in the long run. Now I'm going to give you a couple of examples in a minute. Two of the biggest, wealthiest people in the world, two of the biggest billionaires. Well, basically, let's talk about them now. There was Roman Abramovich from Russia and Warren Buffett from the United States. These two gents are both billionaires. Warren, I don't know if he still does, but he used to own Chelsea FC. They both started like you and I. They left school. They didn't have money. They went and got themselves a job. Instead of spending a lot of their money, their spare money, on lots of little treats and stuff like that, they decided to use whatever spare money they had and invested them into stocks and shares. It got to a point where Roman Abramovich actually ended up owning the company. I believe this is true. He actually owned the company that he was working for. So he would go to work as a worker with his mates, and then several years down the line, I would love to have been in the room where he walked in one day and just basically said, "Guys, I'm your boss." I mean, the look on their faces must have been, as they say, it must have been a picture. So these guys were all working, they was earning a wage, and then they were going out, they were probably spending some rubles on wine, women and song, having a few vodkas, whatever it is, eating, having a bit of fun. Roman Abramovich was trying to save his money so that he could use it further on in life, and he's basically changed his life to the point that he is a billionaire. Now, obviously, there's so much more, so many different factors and things to take into consideration here. Things like the shares that he spent, the money that he had. Everyone's going to be different. There's going to be different sort of results for different people. But the fact is, I know people who are constantly moaning that they're skint and poor, but they will probably call into coffee shops 2, possibly 3 times a day and buy coffees. Nothing wrong with that. Again, it depends on what you want in life. But if you're doing that 3 times a day, you're looking at a coffee around £3. That's £3, £6, £9. You do that over, say, the 5 working days for 4 weeks in a month, and do that every month of a year. That's a lot of money that you are spending on stuff which is not necessarily benefiting your life. You're enjoying it, yes, fine, you're enjoying it, but that money could be put aside to invest in stocks and shares. You could put that money aside into buying something to sell. You could put that money aside into having a business, for growing a business. You could put that money aside to having possibly like some books written or something else, outsourced to somebody else who then they sell. You could spend a couple £100, couple $100 having a book written, and then you can sell it for the next 5, 10, 15 years, making a profit off that book itself. You could create a multiple income stream from that book. As I said, what we spend our money on, the little things that we do regularly, we don't see them, we don't take notice of them because it's just a few pounds here, a few dollars there. We're just so used to spending it. It's not a huge amount. You know that if you're going to spend $100, £100, or £1,000, that's going to be it's going to be hard to earn the money back. You know you're losing a lot of money. It's a big risk. You know that you can't afford it, or there's going to be some major consequences to it. When we spend small amounts of money, we think there's only a small consequence. It's only a couple of quid. I've got a couple of quid in my pocket. It's only a small consequence. But there is actually big consequences attached to the small spending that we do. And this is where the idea that it's boom or bust comes from with either mindful or excessive spending, is because if you're mindful, then you are saving money. Every pound that you save, every dollar that you save, basically, there's a saying that every dollar you save is a dollar, it's a dollar less taxed. Because basically it means you don't necessarily have to earn more money, so you don't have to pay more income tax. But it also means that you're not spending on things like VAT and paying out on lots of things, tax necessarily in the bank and stuff. But the fact is, when you're not spending lots of money, you have more money spare to spend on the things which are going to propel you forward. So, for example, £100 a month on food and drink is not a lot. You can look and say, yeah, it's just £100 a month. But if you were to put that towards a loan, so let's say you've got a loan, you're paying the bare minimum, but if you put £100 extra to a loan each month, then you are reducing the loan quicker and you are paying less interest, which by the end of the loan it's paid off. You could have probably saved yourself several £1,000s. Okay, so a little few pounds here and a few pounds there may not be a big spend, but it saved you a lot of money in the long run. If you'd use that money to buy some education, some training, which then basically took you out of the job which you're earning minimum wage and put you in a job where you was earning, at least triple the wage, the hourly wage, and was earning you far more per year, then that money itself has paid off big time. There is a huge consequence with it. Not just one consequence, but there is like a law of consequences. So every consequence has more consequences. But with excessive spending on small things, they can really have a major impact on your life in the long run. So really I just wanted to sort of talk about the fact that when you're out spending, when you're out doing stuff, every time you go and buy yourself sort of a chocolate bar, or a bag of crisps, or as well as them being sort of not necessarily good for your health and for your mental health, because food can be quite toxic. But it's very, very sort of damaging to your future. And again, I'm not saying this in a way to say don't have a life, don't buy coffee. I'm a huge fan of Costa Coffee. Myself, we go out there to every time we go to sort of any other town and we see a coffee shop, we probably pop and go and treat ourselves. We don't do it a lot, but I also have a system set up. It's a multiple income stream, which I'll tell you about later. It's a little ebook that I sell. That ebook brings in some extra money which I use for my coffee spend. So the money I am earning helps pay towards the coffee. But as I say, I don't do it regularly. I don't go to the coffee shop every day. I certainly don't go, in many ways I don't go every week. We generally make our own coffees at home. But this is the thing. I try not to spend ridiculously. It doesn't mean I don't have treats. It doesn't mean I don't enjoy food. Like I say, I enjoy pizza, I enjoy Chinese, I enjoy Indian food. I do love food, and I do love to enjoy spending money, basically like everybody else. But I do tend to have a bit of a more mindful approach, and that the money that you spend is, like I say, it's hidden money. As I said with the program Secret Eaters, people don't know what they're necessarily spending on. I tend to now have an idea that, I look at things. It's not just £3 here, it's not £2 there, it's not £5 there. That is something that I could use on a service. It could be paid traffic, it could be to have something written, it could be something which is going to be far more beneficial to me. It could be a course online where I can learn more, it could be a book from Amazon. It is something that will benefit me in the long run. So the take from this, and I don't want you to suddenly look and think I'm a miserable bastard who's basically saying don't go out and have fun. Far from it. Life is to be enjoyed. Life is meant to be not stressful, because when you're stressed, you're struggling. Life isn't great when you're stressed. When you're stressed, you tend to make bad decisions, or you can make worse decisions. There was a study to show that poor people are not necessarily poor because they make bad make bad decisions all the time. They make bad decisions because they are poor. Something has probably sent them down that route, and then once they're in there, they're trapped. They're struggling to get out of it. And so there's always a combination of, well, I've got no money, so I might as well have a coffee, or I might as well this. Again, you've got to have mindset. You've got to have a good understanding of how your spending is working, because what you're spending on, what you're not saving on, is going to have a detrimental effect on your bank account. At the end of the month, bank account is a reflection of your previous actions and spendings. But also, when you're just constantly spending out a pound here, pound there, you're just nibbling away at your finances. You're nibbling away at your money. And money is a power. It's a tool. It's not necessarily something just to spend on fun stuff. It's a tool. If you leverage your money, such as Warren Buffett did and Roman Abramovich did when they bought stocks and shares, they're now billionaires. Warren Buffett, when he was a youngster, he was going to work, and I think the majority of his wages was being spent on basically rent, living costs. And then what he had left, he decided not to buy himself a motor car, not a brand new car. A lot of his mates, a lot of his friends were buying, I think it was the brand new T-Bird, they were driving around showing off. He couldn't see the logic in spending the money on a car which was only going to depreciate in value as soon as you drove off the forecourt. Certainly nothing on brand new, and he certainly didn't want to pay on higher purchase, because you're paying an interest on a product which is devaluing. Also, there is the running cost, so you had the fuel to pay, you had to buy the insurances. And he didn't see the logic in buying cars and spending money on something which was depreciating in value, which was losing money all the time, only to impress other people. So if he did get himself a runabout, it was probably a second-hand, cheap runabout where it was minimal cost. Any other spare money that he had, he would put away and buy stocks and shares. And obviously now, as the same as Roman Abramovich, both of these are billionaires. Now, it doesn't necessarily matter what time you start. You know, if you're 21 and watching this, brilliant. If you're 41, 51, 61 and watching this, then great. I'm in no brilliant financial position like Warren Buffett or Roman Abramovich. I'm not a billionaire, nowhere near like that. But I do try to be as mindful as I can, and I like to use my money on certain things which I think are going to enhance my life and take stress away from it. Which is why I'm working from home as a remote worker, as a freelancer, working for myself. I've got myself into a position where I can do that. I've used my monies to learn certain skill sets, freedom skills. I've taken my money and invested it into education, and I've got myself into a position where I'm actually quite happy doing what I do, and stress is a lot less than what it was when I was previously working on building sites as a carpenter or joiner, or when I spent a few years working in a factory as a forklift driver and sweeper-upperer. Trust me when I know that life can be hard. I certainly do, because I have a partner who has what they call an invisible illness. So money is very important to us because there is only one wage coming in. And so you have to be very careful and mindful of what you're spending your money on. So for me, I do enjoy coffees, I do enjoy cake, I enjoy pizzas, as you'll probably see with this little gut that I'm carrying around. I do enjoy films, I enjoy books, I do enjoy spending money like everybody else, but I do try to be mindful, and there is a reason why I am mindful, is because I know that that small amounts of money is often lost. It is hidden, we don't see we spending it, and it eats away at your finances, it eats away at your bank balance. Small amounts can soon add up to big amounts, and you don't realise, or most people don't realise, that those small amounts, which build up into a big amount, have big consequences further down the line. If you're a multi-millionaire or you're a billionaire, you can spend as much money you want on coffee, that's brilliant. If you don't want to be wealthy and quite happy living from paycheck to paycheck each week from your wages, fine, you can spend all your money on what you want. It is your money, it is your choice, it is a tool, it is something to use on pleasure. Just be very, very mindful and careful and have a look at how you're spending, because if you're one of those people who wants to change your life, wants to have more money, wants to better your circumstances and change your situation for the better, but keep saying that you don't have any money, then have a look at what you're spending on. You'll probably be surprised at how much money you could have to invest in yourself or into product services or something else, or have spare at the end of the month, if you actually look at what you are spending your money on each week, each month, you will start to see that there are pounds, dollars disappearing out of your pocket without you realizing, because each day is a new day, each hour is a new hour, and you're not necessarily taking record, you're not paying attention to it. So you're walking into town, you see something, you get a bag of crisps, you get your money out of your pocket, you hand it over, half an hour later, it was just a few pounds, or you just seem to forget about it, you don't worry about it, you don't focus on it, and then you walk down the street, see something else, well, I'll have one of those, out it comes. There are people I've seen spending sort of 10, 15 to 20 pounds a day on stuff they don't necessarily need, because they just don't realise. They say they have no money, but it keeps coming out and it just filters out of their pockets. So at the end of the month they are left with less money than they thought they should have, or they are left with nothing that they can use to better their situation. So yes, so I'm going to bring this video to a close. It went on a bit longer than I sort of planned. So it's mindful versus excessive spending, boom or bust basically. The money that you spend today in small amounts that you are unaware of, that you're not actually paying attention to, can have huge, possibly catastrophic effects in your future if you're not paying attention. Those small amounts of money can add up to big amounts of money, and they can change your life in many ways, especially if you've got loans or mortgages you need to pay off. They can save you thousands. But again, like I said, this isn't about not enjoying life, not enjoying coffees, takeaway foods or anything. It's just asking you to be more mindful on what you're spending on, because your spending is probably more detrimental to your life than you realise. Not the government, not somebody else. It's probably you, your small spends, your small rewards, your small treats, the things that you do daily without thinking are probably having huge effects on your future life. Okay? So anyway, I'm going to bring this video to a close, and I say this is from the Life Bible, How to Succeed When the Odds Are Stacked Against You. If you want your own copy of this book, we are giving it away for free. You just have to pay postage and packaging. You can find it over on our website, thefreedomskillsacademy.com/the Life Bible, with dashes in between. Go over there, have a look through the website, look at the articles. There are courses on there to help you learn how to make more money, save more money, etc. So yeah, head over there now, and I shall speak to you again in another video. So thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye bye.